Greetings, folks. I greet you. Welcome one more time to another program of Homo Politicus on Enterprise TV. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Okay, today the ado about a president's jet. Presidency keeps mum on photo displayed by activist Omoyele Sowore. Now, you know, as a country of conspiracy theorists, suspicion in high and low places abound, sometimes justifiably. These theories are political in motivation. The question of buying a new presidential jet for Mr. President and his vice had triggered a matter of propriety. Activist Omoyele Sowore claims Nigeria has acquired a new presidential jet for the president. He went ahead to share a picture of the said aircraft, whose price he put at $150 million. These allegations were shared via his Instagram handle. The presidency has not reacted to the claim. For us, conspiracy theories are so much more interesting than the facts. Let's go there. Two gentlemen will broach the matter. Let's meet and greet them. Benga Akomolafe is a unionist and a public affairs commentator. I greet you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, Citizen Hussein.
He's joined by Cyril Abaku, broadcaster, communications expert. Cyril, welcome again.
Thank you, Citizen Jones.
Yeah, gentlemen, so much ado about a presidential jet. Now, activist, otherwise a good governance advocate, Omoyele Sowore has shared a picture claiming the jet has already been bought. Originally, it was meant to be $100 million, and later, according to him, $50 million crept into the picture. But the presidency has kept mum. Are you surprised?
Well, I don't think there's anything to be surprised about. Before now, there were stories about the presidential yacht that similarly cost hundreds of millions of dollars. Again, the presidency was mum, you know, and up till now, we have no clarity on whether the presidential yacht was actually purchased or not. And of course, we've heard all the stories about cars costing hundreds of millions of naira shared to the members of the National Assembly. We've heard stories of hundreds of billions used to rehabilitate a National Assembly complex that was recently rehabilitated by the Buhari government. So we've heard all these stories. To appear that our ruling elite are sparing they're sparing nothing to make themselves very, very, very comfortable. The problem really is the propriety, like you said, of this kind of spending
At a time like this?
At a time like this, yes.
See, the schematics is natural for the central government not to bandy words. So it's the tendency is for people, it gives vent, so to speak, to the conspiracy or the theory.
Well, my intervention will be that there has been some level of consistency in the communication that has been coming out from diverse quarters regarding the move to acquire a new presidential jet for the president. And that this consistency is a bit makes for discomfort First,
whose this comes for?
well, for me and maybe for any other Nigerian, because the first issue is about the fact that it was the National Assembly, I think the technical subcommittee of the House of Reps, that first recommended that Mr. President needed a new private jet or needed a new presidential jet. I was wondering, because I don't know if the House committee had the technical knowledge or expertise to make such a recommendation. And if they did, why was the recommendation about acquiring a new jet? We know that their work largely is to provide oversight, to ask questions, which we would normally have been asking. In a manner of speaking, this is Parliament. Nigerians are trying to make sense of what is going on in government. So Parliament is essentially there to check and balance the other arms of government, especially the executive arm of government. So they are not the ones who are even recommending. Well, it's fine. Let's even assume that they are all in the APC and they can make such a recommendation. The presidency was largely quiet. Then later on, the Senate president denied.
No, see, but getting a new jet for Mr. President has nothing to do with a party.
I'm trying to be, well, I was talking about the curiosity of the National Assembly being the one to even make the recommendation in the first place. Because the presidency had not...
Maybe that's a part of the conspiracy.
Yes, well, I don't know what it is. I would just say curiosity instead of conspiracy. But I'm coming at a point. Then Nigerians began to say, why? The Senate president came and said, that was not even in the picture. It was not even in the question. They were not going to get it. That they were not planning to get a new jet for Mr. President. I think it was 2 days later, Mr. Kwame came up again and said that if the president would need a new private jet, that they will not be in the that they will quickly hasten to. That was what the conversation was. The next thing we had was that the new private jet, presidential jet, will be factored into the supplementary budget. Okay, let's assume that's the proposal. The next thing was that an online newspaper now published authoritatively, it was an exclusive report. They said that they had discovered that the presidency was already concluding negotiations to purchase a repurposed A330 Airbus in Germany, which an Arab sheikh who had run out of, maybe who have run on hard times, had lost in collateral to a bank, to a German bank, and that the German bank had put the bed in the, what's it called, supervision or whatever, maintenance of a Miami-based aviation firm. Okay. And that this was how much the firm was demanding, and this was how much the Nigerian government was negotiating. That went on. That was the bid we now had. It was exclusive. In all of these, government didn't come out to say, we are buying, we are not buying. We are negotiating, we are not negotiating. They didn't do that. And what I thought back then was that, why should the federal government go to buy a jet from a bank? You see, ideally, if you want to buy a car now...
The government never told you that. It went to buy the plane.
Well, I said that, assuming that report was true, why would the government even consider going to buy from a bank? If you want to buy a car, you go to a car dealer. You see, because these things are not... when you want to make purchases, you make them in ways that you can get the most for the least. A bank is not an aeroplane dealer. It is not even their own area of expertise. That's why they put it in the custody of a Miami-based aviation firm. Now, when you go, they will transfer all the maintenance cost of damage and everything on you, the buyer. But let's even leave that. The government didn't go to either a maker or a dealer. They went to a bank, assuming that report was true. Now again, Sowore has brought pictures of an A330 Airbus, saying that they've already bought. You see, the earlier on, Comrade was talking about the yacht, right? We are told that the yacht had already been bought. But then we already knew, what we were told was that it had already been bought. I mean, we've seen this curious pattern from President Buhari down up until now, where presidents are making extra budgetary expenses. It's an impeachable offense. But today, you see, because the point is that it's not about joining issues with Sowore. This is a very grievous allegation to make against a sitting government, a president or presidency. Government, for the sake of accountability, owes Nigerians a measure of clarification. We have bought, we have not bought, we're not going to buy. None of that has come to the fore. You may just hear now that it has arrived at the wing because you see, the president today has about 6 or 9 different aircraft in the fleet. That's one. Then you got to check how much we've spent since 2016 from maintenance of aircraft. It runs into 86 billion naira or so. Nobody has even come to audit to say, okay, this amount is spent on repairs. For goodness sake.
Thank you, Cyril. Comrade, you know, I'm not taking sides there. I don't have to, but I'm looking at all sides of the issue. Omoyele Sowore is an activist. I remember that he contested to be president. He could have been president. And of course, I know that secrecy in government is done across the world. And it is not everything that's divulged to the public. But look at an activist kick-starting this new debate. We're told nature abhors a vacuum. So there appears to have been a vacuum. Especially now at a time like this. Sowore is talking about hunger in the land and related matters. And then tie this to it. Ostensibly to get the man, the bystander, the man at the bus stop, the man at the marketplace, raising questions. We don't need these distractions at this time, or do we need them?
I really,
if you understand my ramble,
I really find your your ramble, as you put it, a little bit curious. I think the least we will expect.
Let me play the devil's advocate. But
yeah, I understand. But I think by every measure, at this time, the least we will expect is some measure of accountability by anybody that claims to be running the affairs of this country, for so many reasons. The first being that it's a period where most Nigerians, overwhelming number of Nigerians, are groaning from a social reality that has made access to food for most Nigerians
a tall order.
Not to talk of
they say they say the most critical period in any family is breakfast time.
Yes. So for a country undergoing food famine, and then we are now hearing stories of a new presidential jet by a presidency that we all know had custody of 11 aircraft in the so-called presidential fleet.
It is not so-called. There's a presidential fleet.
It's the presidential fleet. Then you are now buying a new one. I think all Nigerians have every right to raise eyebrows and to ask questions. And I think if truly there's any measure of democracy in the system we are running now, those in government also have every responsibility to respond, to say, yes, we are buying it for whatever reason. Oh no, there's nothing like that. We're not buying anything like this at this time.
Cyril, you and I live in a country that has perfected the art, ignoble art of not punishing bad behavior. You know, so we want to start it now.
I mean, with
this present setup,
it's never too.
It's been a long time coming.
Sure, it is, but doesn't mean that it should continue. So I think that yes, in the workings of statecraft, from the day you realize that wrong has occurred, you begin to write them. You look at a country like Rwanda, for example. One would think that a country that, in a manner of speaking, took its own life should remain flat on the ground, but it didn't.
No, Rwanda actually committed suicide.
Exactly.
It did.
Yes, but then how has it risen from the ashes like the phoenix? It is on its feet.
Leadership.
So, and it's never too late to wake up and reclaim.
The same Paul Kagame is angling for a fourth term.
No,
and it will provoke debates across the world. Should he or should he not?
No, but okay, so well, I'm glad you've gone. So let's even go there. In Europe, in Britain, how many times can the prime minister serve? There's no time limit. If you look at America, it was only in the 60s also that they began to talk of time limits.
FDR, yeah.
He did four straight terms, as president. He died he even died in office. In Europe till today, there are prime ministers who served. John Clark Juncker, right? How long was he in office? There are those of them who stayed sometimes 12 years, 13 years. I think that without holding brief for, because I mean, just going there, Kagame, I may not hold brief for Kagame, right? But if you compare Kagame with Robert Mugabe of Zimbabwe, Mugabe was there from 79 till about 2018 or so.
Talk about your neighbor next door.
Paul Biya, 1982 till now. All right. If you look at this man, you can tell that the elections are rigged. You can tell there's bloodshed, there's violence, there's electoral violence. Rwanda is a bit different. So, in a manner of speaking, if indeed Rwanda is the push wheel, so be it. But in the Nigerian case, can Nigerian leaders look in the mirror and tell themselves that they can stand shoulder to shoulder with Mr. Kagame? Because or even look at me of Singapore. Because the fact is that a leader must wake up one day to make tough choices. Like Mr. Komolafe said very correctly, we can't have 11 aircraft in the presidential fleet.
I see, Cyril, but
we spent
the president's safety is key.
Hold on. Why has the president not even been the one to say?
The president's safety is key.
At any rate, I understand.
And nobody says, there's no law that says those aircraft in the presidential fleet can't go bad. No, nothing says it cannot go
nothing
bad.
Says Obasanjo bought the
they also understand that the president has his own private jet. His wife has a private jet. I would have thought that if push actually come to show, the president could as well use his own private jet. We had a governor in Lagos State who stayed in his private house throughout his 4-year term. Who used his own private car throughout the 4-year term. And he is on record to be the most accomplished and successful governor.
Yeah, comrade, I'm glad you've gone there. In the same second republic, there was a Kaduna governor who was the head of the Talakawas, if you understand, Balarabe Musa. He got kicked because he refused to allow the state assembly to have its way. Give them money anyhow. Yet they still kicked him. Does that not make you become perplexed about the followership in my country, your country?
Well, the mere fact that the Kaduna House Assembly did what they did does not translate that all the people in Kaduna actually supported what they did. And of course, I know for a fact that they did not, because there was protest after the impeachment of Balarabe Musa. It only goes to show the nature of the Nigerian ruling elite, which has shown
the Nigerian politician.
That's why I say ruling. They are the one in government. They are the one that have been ruling directly or indirectly since 1960. The dominant section of that ruling elite has demonstrated, remorseless kleptocracy.
Okay.
And it seems the trajectory continues.
And if I may add,
and that's very sad.
Yes, the fact that of all the Second Republic governors in Nigeria, let me even give you a few of their names. GMO Bodo, Olabisi Onabanjo, if I'm correct. You had at some point, I think Omobori who also became governor.
Clement Isong,
Melford Okilo, and the rest of them, including the one that was in Imo.
Sam, the whooping governor.
Okay, good. Now, of all these people, it is Balarabe Musa that is the point of reference on this table.
No.
Because I think
no. Don't
point of view. Yes.
It is what crosses my mind.
Of course, because of what he stood for.
The peculiar nature.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's something that a leader, if necessary, will pay with his life in fighting for the common good. If he wouldn't do that, he should not stick his neck out to serve. Because that's what I heard people say things like, can the governor be his own man? Can the president be his own man? Well, if you as much as stuck your neck out to be voted for, and you got the vote, and now you're in, you must pay the price that comes with being a leader. It's not enough to have outriders and police escort and an ADC and food paid for. If you see, I always say this: if I became president of Nigeria in Aso Rock, right? In Aso Rock, I can't be a president who uses $5 million to have my hair cut in a year or in a month. What what am I cutting? I will use my salary to buy my own food. You know, this one that we have some talk. So you see all this are money that
but we had a politician of the same vintage. You go to the late president Musa Yar'Adua.
Yes.
For 8 years as governor, he had no generator in his house.
No.
And at Aso Rock, he refused to sign the bill for supplying diesel to the Aso Rock. We have them
now. So
they are few and far between.
Cool. So this president should copy the right example and begin to implement it. What will it cost? That's where what will it cost us? I was saying the amount of money. Look, in serious countries, by now we should have been talking about an audit of what we spent. The money we spent on maintaining this aircraft alone, that so-called fleet alone, is enough to buy us 10 more. The money is too much. Why aren't we saying let's return some to the makers and see how you can fetch us a rebate to get a new one, and then to buy but
you and I know that you don't go to buy an aircraft off the shelf. There must be a time you book in advance.
So apparently for one, or
before when you order, it is not delivered immediately.
That is exactly.
But hold on. Yesterday we got discussing on another platform. The Guild of Engineers who are against collapsed buildings said in the last 2 years about 325 buildings collapsed across the country. My mind went to two distinct dates. Number one, September 12, 2014, when a structure on the premises of a popular church here in Lagos collapsed. Between then and tomorrow, comrade, nothing has been done. And then on December 16, 2016, the dome of a church in my state, Uyo, Akwa Ibom, the capital of my state, collapsed, caved in, killed close to 200 people and 235 people. But government came out with 18 fatalities. To them, 18 people died. Nothing was done.
May I step in here now? It is said in law that in criminal cases, time does not run against the state.
So you are saying those cases might still be reopened?
Of course, if government wanted to. As far as
well, in my opinion, I think hopefully we be reopened when we have a genuine pro-people government.
Exactly, should be reopened. I mean, you have people who have gone to court to say the Delegiwa case, and the court ruled some months ago that they should go back and revisit the case. In my opinion, again, it comes down to leadership. Now let's come back to the matter on the table. If the president wants to buy a new jet, let's even say it's okay, let him go get one because he needs one. Is the way they have gone about it the best way? In my view, it is no. When rumors are
so the story from Sowore should be taken line, hook, sinker
until it is denied.
Until it is denied.
They haven't denied it.
They should deny it.
So until it is denied, we believe.
Exactly.
Personally, we want to believe that the story is true until it is officially denied by the presidency.
You know, we had this Samoa agreement. It didn't come up some weeks ago when the national daily went to town to say this matter is true. The federal government is eyeing the money from the funds and They didn't come out and deny it. They even threatened the newspaper so much so that they had to apologize. So when you know that something, look, you see, we are not in the best of times. There's a I've called it a name. This August 1 protest that are about to go down in across the country against that government. Suddenly you had them saying that they're releasing trucks of rice to Nigerians and so on. Look, for me, knee-jerk reactions.
But that's not a rumor.
No, it's not a rumor. They announced that after a fake meeting on Monday, which is okay. But which is a choice that they've made. It's fine as far as they made that choice. But the fact is that government responds to issues that they feel they need to respond to. I think that this whole airline, this presidential jet purchase saga, is coming to them below the belt. First, somebody
in your estimation,
in my view, authoritatively reported that they are going to buy this thing from a German bank. The details were just too undeniable, really. And now Sowore has even got picture evidence. If it was not true, by now they would have said it is a lie that you should come and provide a final. But now they're keeping mum. Is it likely that before the end of next week we'll hear that? I mean, the speed with which this whole thing has even gone down is also curious. The same amount that the National Daily that published the story as an exclusive 2 weeks ago is the same amount. They told them that hectare for 150 million. The other one was 150 million. Now 100 million now to purchase and 50 million now to deposit. Why do you spend? Do you know? You have Airpeace, you have Arik, but do you know the federal government can even partner them and say you are national carrier, but then let's have an agreement with you. Whenever the president wants to fly, you fly with him.
Like the British government.
Then what you now do?
Comrade, the Nigerian government is not the same as the British government. That's a different government.
What you then do is to have an agreement.
Yeah, Nigeria is even richer than Britain.
A lot of the meetings that
I agree. Yes. A former British Prime Minister said if the amount of money stolen from Nigeria was done in the UK would have gone down under. And when he said Nigeria was fantastically corrupt after Afghanistan, our number one citizen was in the audience, if you remember. Did he quarrel with
agreement? Of course, he wasn't. He was not in disagreement.
And that's where I'm going. What they could have also done, the meetings the president will attend should be noted. United Nations General Assembly, and you know those other ones.
The president's itinerary.
Yes, should be noted. Then you have an agreement with you see, we talk about we say a lot about Japan, Singapore, Malaysia, but we don't copy the work they put in. Because I remember that was it the IMF or World Bank that was giving some handouts or monies to developing countries at a time when the Singaporeans went as usual. They told them we can't give you money anymore because your ratings. From the evidence we see, you guys are eligible to be collecting aid from us.
The Singaporean, the Singaporean strongman, I must remind you, Lee Kuan Yew came to Nigeria in 1965.
Indeed.
Comrade, when he shook hands with Tafawa Balewa's ministers and got to Festus Okotiebo, he realized that the man carrying the head, or is it the tail of his wrapper, was somewhere at the last bus stop. You know, he shook his head and said, "This is not a serious country." We've been like that since 1965. So, but now I think we are retooling. But I know you agree with late Professor Chinua Achebe. There was a country here, in this country.
Yeah.
I lived in that country, and I dare say you lived in it.
Sure.
The country worked.
It worked because even though the overwhelming picture was that of kleptocracy, like we did point out earlier, there were always exceptions.
Yeah, people were duly punished.
People were punished, and then there were also those in government who did everything to offer quality service, public service to Nigerians.
Okay.
And we can point at, we can mention names, you know, all over the country. The other time,
because
the other time we went to the Second Republic, and you mentioned Bala.
Let's see.
And we had people like Latif.
Come in. Let's go back there to the Second Republic.
Yes.
The Shagari's Minister of Transport, Umaru Diko, was started to have misappropriated 400,000 naira, which today sounds like
pocket money. Yeah, okay.
Hundreds of billions, yes. Yeah. By today's.
Was he punished? The attempt by Buhari to have him created home failed, but it showed that there was an attempt at punishing bad behavior.
That was after a coup, though. You see, like
let's begin to take this home.
Yes.
Time is very tight. In 60 seconds, can you aggregate your thoughts here?
Yeah, it's simple. I think the current government, federal government, by not coming out to deny the purchase of this aircraft, is lending credence to the story we're hearing from the likes of Sowore. And it is very unfortunate because this is a period that Nigerians are going through extreme pains on account of what many believe is the mismanagement of the economy.
Yeah.
And for a government to be purchasing this kind of aircraft at this, about $150 million US dollars, that would be close to 250 billion naira at the current exchange rate. It shows a lot of insensitivity, to say the least. And so we can only call on the government to correct its steps. And if indeed they have done this, I think they have a duty to...
yes, sir. Can you bury your thoughts here?
In my view, we can deploy this money for a lot better things. The president doesn't need a presidential jet necessarily to move about. If move about is what he wants to do, reach an agreement with companies you can even give tax cuts to and fly. It's easier that way. If the end goal is to develop our country and make things work, this idea of spending 90 billion naira on Hajj, 250 billion naira on an aircraft, and worst of all, you won't even deny or confirm that you are buying this thing. You are allowing the rumor mill to swell, and it doesn't help our public communication. So the president has a bounden duty as father of the nation to set the records straight and lead by example.
Thank you. We apply the brakes here, but not before thanking Comrade Benga Komolafe for your time.
Thank you.
And Cyril Abaku for your time too.
It's a pleasure.
Well, continue the debate from here. Ours is to provoke the debate after we would have molded opinion. Until the next time, this is Citizen Jones Hussein saying thank you. Bye-bye now. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.